I was just trying to do whatever I could to supplement with what we had. Can I do that? Can I really give the students everything that they need and do justice for science? I didn't know if I had it in myself.
We were really just going to the internet, trying to find something that would fit our standards, and nowhere in this district, no one was on the same page.
When I came back into the second grade classroom, our district had adopted Studies Weekly as the science and social studies curriculum. We hadn't had any in a long time. No matter what my day looks like, whether I have an hour and 20 minutes with the class, whether I have 30 minutes with the class, 5 minutes, if we're having an assembly program, I can type in resources, I can look up a video, play that. We can go through a few pages of our Studies Weekly periodical, cut them up, make artifacts with them.
How I saw teachers struggle before, we give them an hour of planning a day. So they get about 5 hours a week, but they were spending 2 or 3 hours every night additional, or time on the weekends instead of spending with their families, planning for next week's lesson. So this gave them the opportunity because it's all right there.
Even though there's the challenge of making sure that there's dedicated time for science and social studies, it can be done. I realized that students could get just as much reading from social studies content. They could get just as much math from science content. And when I was able to bring in a lot of these problem-solving and project-based learning activities, they were getting their reading, they were getting their math, they were getting science, social studies, all of these together. My students know that when they come to my classroom, we're going to be doing science and social studies, and when we have a day that we do writing, it's going to apply to the science or social studies that we've been doing with Studies Weekly. I like some of the self-assessment questions, especially the engineer design process. It has students stop and just think for a minute, did I struggle? Did I give my best work? How about all the people in my group? To where that they could really be honest about it. Did everybody in the group work? I think that has really helped my students to not be afraid to admit that they may have struggled with an activity.
When you look at different types of curriculums to purchase, you want something that meets the standards in your state. And I felt that Studies Weekly did a good job to match the Kentucky state standards, and it was something that was easy to adopt.
If I have someone that's coming to observe, they can see that I'm following along with our standard. They can see that we're asking specific standards-based questions, and we're doing activities that all tie back to our standards.
I think the difference that the science curriculum has, how it has changed our K-2 hallway, kids now have an interest for science. They have a passion, they want to learn more. They go home and they have conversations with their parents because I hear it when I'm in the buildings and they're like, oh, well, they are loving what they're doing in Miss Howard's class, or they're loving what they're doing in Miss Couch's class, because they are being exposed to items that they had not seen before. We are just next level with the way that we are pushing out curriculum. It's made a big difference. Kids are now excited. Kids want to discover, why does this occur? Why does this happen? And they're asking those questions. So when they're getting older and getting into science classes as they grow up, they've got that drive.
When you get to see the light in their eyes, maybe they weren't even really a fan of school, but something that we have talked about, something we've learned, has sparked an interest, and they want more. I love that.